What up, world? 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 This is main man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, and we are back at you again. Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. We got a busy, jam-packed night tonight, man. Right now, if you don't know, you're under a rock or something. The NFL draft is going on right now. We're going to talk about the first 10 picks of the draft, man. Lakers and Nuggets. Lakers and Nuggets is on again, man. You know, we really didn't talk about it. Really didn't have much to say about what happened Monday night other than let's just get the dub tonight. 10 straight times to lose to somebody, that is a lot. That's a lot. Okay? There's a lot to unpack. But we are here tonight for the draft, man. Also, man, you already know what time it is, man. I am your main man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, coming at you from Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. We are on the Post Network, powered by Roku. I'm going to say it each and every week. If you haven't already, make sure if you got a Roku device or any way to access Roku, download the network, man. The Post Network on the Roku app, brother. Listen, for all my ladies, all my guys, we got something on there for each and every one of y'all. Like I said, we got fitness stuff. We got freaky stuff. We got sports. We got relationships. We got real life. Anything you can think of, we got multiple episodes on the channel. Make sure you download the Post Network. But why are we here right now, man? Why are we here right now tonight? We are here because of the NFL draft, man. And listen, was it a little anticlimactic? However you want to put that phrase. Hopefully I ain't mess it up. If I did, y'all don't understand. I'm from Birmingham, man. Understand that. So let's get into it, man. You know, I think there was, for me, this is just my personal opinion. You can agree, disagree. It don't matter to me. If I was Chicago, choosing between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, I understand the potential and all of those things. Me personally, I like to see what someone does on the field. You say, Ben, what do you mean? What did Caleb Williams actually do at USC? He won a Heisman. He put up some numbers. Did they play for anything of significance? No. Did they beat anybody of significance? No. They disappointed you both years. Hello. It's quiet. Now, push back to that, Jaden Daniels. You say, hey, what did Jaden Daniels do? LSU didn't win nothing. No, they didn't win anything. But I did watch Jaden Daniels literally put a team on his back and actually win games of significance in the SEC. I witnessed that. Although we took care of his ass twice. But that's neither here nor there. But I did watch him win games of significance in the SEC. I did watch him actually play for an SEC title game. Although they didn't win, I still watched him play for an SEC title game. So for me personally, if I'm choosing between the two, especially since Chicago already had weapons in place, we've seen what Jaden Daniels can do with receivers the caliber of DJ Moore, of Keenan Allen. And in this draft, they picked up another receipt. They picked up a Dunze. So, you know, again, you look at what Chicago was what they've already done before the pieces were in place. You know, the pieces were in place. And like you said, in the draft, you pick up a Dunze. So for me, I would rather see the guy that I've seen do it with those caliber weapons. That's just me. However, Chicago, you can't go wrong. Caleb Williams has the potential of being an amazing quarterback. All right, cool. Now let's get to what everybody seems to have an issue with. Atlanta Falcons. Hey, my ATL ho. ATL ho. You know what I'm saying? All my Falcons fans, y'all come to the front of the congregation, come to the front of the dinner table, come to the front of the VIP line, because a lot of my Falcons fans, y'all are pissed. Let me ask you something, though, just to play devil's advocate, okay? You say, hey, Dose, man, we got Kirk Cousins, man. We paying Kirk Cousins all this money, man. We need help on the defense, man. We need help on the defense. I ask you, do you think Dallas Turner was a generational talent on defense? I think he has potential of being good. But is he a top 10 generational talented person on defense? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm saying it in that context because if he's not that, or if he doesn't prove to be that, then why not take the quarterback? Okay, follow me. Come on, come get in the car. Ride with me. Come on, ride with me. All right, so here where I go with it. Kirk Cousins only has maybe 2 or 3 years left. Okay, that's all. That's about it. Kirk Cousins been in the league for a minute. He probably has maybe 2 or 3 years at peak level, maybe. Okay, but under Kirk Cousins in that division right now, I mean, one could argue. I mean, unless you believe in Tampa and Baker, I know they made the playoffs last year, but I'm going somewhere with this. Outside of that, one could argue Atlanta, with the pieces that they have in place with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, they're not going to be this sorry again, where they're picking in the top 10. Because even Kirk Cousins, a decent Kirk Cousins should, in that division, should get you 7, 8, or maybe even 9, 10 wins. I mean, the sky's the limit. We have to look at the schedule and see who they play outside of the division. But one would think in that division and with Kirk Cousins' skill set, you would think that he's going to at least get y'all 8 to 10 wins, somewhere in that equation. 8 to 10 wins. Well, if you're getting that many wins, guess what? You ain't picking like that in the draft. You ain't picking right there in the draft, man. So I say all that to say, why not seize it up, which is what we said when the trade happened. Number one, when everybody was all up in arms about, when y'all were all up in arms about not getting Justin Fields. And I was just like, hey, man, you got the 8th pick in the draft. Don't give that up to, quote unquote, get Justin Fields, whom is going to have to be paid at some point real soon. Sit at 8, see who falls for you. This was a deep quarterback draft, as we saw, the deep quarterback draft. One of those guys was going to fall to you. And what happened tonight? One of them fell to you. Don't look at the money that you're paying Kirk Cousins. Don't look at that. Don't think about that. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have pennies. So even if he sits a year or two, okay, i.e., look at Green Bay right now. You think when they drafted Jordan Love, you think that people were happy about that? They were literally saying the same exact thing, like, hey, man, they got Aaron Rodgers and the wrong Rodgers. Look at what they got, though. He was able to. I mean, this ain't nothing new, y'all. I mean, guys have been getting drafted by teams that already had established quarterbacks, and they sat for a while. To be honest with you, this is the best way to do it. Because when you don't do it this way, and a lot of times we see in more cases than not, when you throw these quarterbacks to the wolves without an established quarterback and without a team that's already somewhat in place, we see a lot of these guys bust out. We do. Case in point, look at this draft right here. I mean, look at teams that are already 2 years later replacing quarterbacks that they drafted. So, but in those cases, a lot of those guys went to teams where there wasn't an established quarterback presence already there. So they were what? Thrown to the wolves. So if you are Atlanta, you know what you have. You got young talent all around you. You got Drake London. You got Bijan. You got Kyle Pitts. Okay. You have young guys that are already there, that are already established. So don't look at this as stupidity, because again, unless Dallas Turner ends up being a generational talent edge rusher where he's getting 12, 13 sacks a year for a clip, you didn't really blow this pick. So I don't want to hear the whole Atlanta maybe possibly do this pick. I think what they did was very, very, I think for Atlanta, it was very smart. And let's be honest, do we know if Kirk Cousins is 100%? Do we know? We could be saying all of this. What if Kirk Cousins is 100%? Or what if he comes out there and he's a shell of himself? How happy would y'all be then if you took Dallas Turner? Kirk Cousins comes out here, he's a shell of himself. He's not good. He's average at best. And y'all took Dallas Turner. Now what? Now what? You see what I'm saying? This helps you out. There'll be other pass rushers in the draft, man. Let's be honest. There'll be other pass rushers in the second and third and fourth. You know what I'm saying? You can get a pass rusher. The great ones, they don't grow on trees, but you can develop some too. So don't look at that like that. Now, let's pivot, because I spent way too much time talking about the Atlanta Falcons, more than I anticipated on talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Let's talk about the way the game has gone. My goodness. My goodness, man. Look at the first 10 picks. Let's look at them. I mean, we all know Caleb Williams, quarterback. Jaden Daniels, quarterback. Drake May, quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver. Joe Alt, offensive tackle. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback. Rome Odunze, wide receiver. J.J. McCartney, quarterback. And if you keep going, the 11th pick, Olu Fashano, tackle. The 12th pick, Bo Nix, quarterback. 13. You had to go all the way to the 15th pick. The 15th pick before a defensive player was selected. That's a head scratcher right there. I'm not saying that as any knock on the defensive guys in the draft this year. It's just looking at the way that the league is and what now you see is being more valued. Now, somebody could argue with me and say, Ben, well, that's this particular year. Well, okay, we're just talking about this particular year. And in this particular year, offense has been a heavy price tag has been placed on offense. And when we hear all the time, defense wins championships, you got to have, you go look at the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl. As great as Mahomes is, as great as Travis Kelce is, as great as Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, Purdy, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Isaiah Pacheco, as great as those guys are on the offensive side of the ball, neither San Francisco nor Kansas City made it to that point without their defense being good. Hell, look at the Super Bowl. Look at how low the score was. Look at how long they went in between touchdowns and scores. Defense was heavy. Even in the championship games, the weeks prior, defense was heavy in both the AFC and NFC title games. Defense was heavy. So to see how the season ended, ironically enough, to see how the season ended with teams with Baltimore had a good defense. Let's be clear. Baltimore had a real good defense too. So to see the season end the way that it ended with the style of play that was played, and then to watch the draft and see what 14 picks all offense, whether that's and it was and guess what we didn't see in that offensive smorgasbord board. We ain't seen no running back. Deep road. And you wasn't gonna see one, but just saying, didn't see no running back. So all in all, when you look at the draft, I want to take this time just to say, look at what your team needs, and look at how your team addresses their needs. Okay. Sometimes it's not all about flash. It's not all about having that new shiny toy. Sometimes you have to look at what your team needs currently. That's what the draft is all about. Now, sometimes you just take the best position available, but other times you look at what your team needs. Now, again, as my partner Tuck, he in the group, he chatting. You know, we do the show with Downside Football Podcast. I don't know how. I'm sure he's happy about Neighbors going to the Giants, but for me, I think that was a good move. You know why? Because hey, at the end of the day, you paid Daniel Jones. You paid him. None of us thought it was the best decision in the world to give Daniel Jones his money, but you gave Daniel Jones his money. So what did you do in turn? You gave Daniel Jones a weapon. You gave him a weapon. So now you lose Saquon. But as we know, you can pick up a running back. You gave him a weapon. You gave him Malik Neighbor. Depending on who you ask, he's the best wide receiver in the draft. Most people will say Marvin Harrison Jr. Other people will say Neighbors. So depending on what side of the fence you stand on, you either have the best wide receiver in the draft or you have the second best wide receiver in the draft. You paid Daniel Jones. You gave him a weapon. Let's see what the kid does now that he has a legitimate weapon. Because it's not like you wasted a number 8 pick on Neighbors and expect him to grow into his role. You basically are expecting this guy to come in to be wide receiver 1. And if he's not wide receiver 1 from the jump, you're expecting him at some point to take that torch and become wide receiver 1 as the season goes on. So, and also let's look at, you think about what the Chargers did. We was bouncing around the draft. We're talking about the draft. You think about what the Chargers did. They go, again, not a sexy pick for most people. Most people would say drafting an offensive tackle is not a sexy pick. Of course it's not a sexy pick. But you know something? If this Joe Alt guy pans out, guess what? You got your offensive tackle for the next decade. And that's what you do. It is not a sexy. Thinking offensive tackles is never a sexy pick. It is not a fan favorite. But again, you have to address your needs and what it is that you have. You got Justin Herbert. They already said he likes Corum. Probably going to take Corum at some point in the second round. So you got Corum. When you would eventually have him, and you work with Justin Herbert, you protect him. Same thing that Cincinnati had to do. Burrow been getting his hat literally handed to him. You had to get him a lineman, and which is why they went out and they got Amarius Mims. I mean, they went and got a very big man to protect him. Because at the end of the day, you can have an amazing quarterback. Ask Polo Bryce Young down there in Carolina. Ask him. I guarantee he'll tell you he wish he – okay? So, at the end of the day, your draft is about needs. Your draft is about needs, and I think that the ones that get it right and the teams that have these picks, but then they don't get back in that spot again because they made great draft choices. They're the ones that get it right. So in the end, man, enjoy the NFL draft. It spans over the next few weekend, over the next few days. And I mean, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? We literally all enjoy it. We know what it is. And you have to embrace what your team does. Because ultimately, if you get this right, which we've seen time and time again where you don't, but if you get this right, a lot of times you have a guy that's going to be in your organization and be in your franchise for years to come. So don't look at it negatively, look at it positively. And before we go, the NBA playoffs is heating up. And there's no way in the world you could have told me that at the start of the playoffs, Phoenix would be down to, and the Lakers would be down to. And Miami would actually have gotten a win on Boston. So enjoy it, man. This is going to be a long month and some change with NBA basketball, man. Enjoy it. I love it. I love this time of year. I love the back and forth. Of course, you already know the same tide debate that pops up every playoff. This Michael Jordan, LeBron debate. Hey, I refuse to have it because, again, my opinion about it is completely different from most people. I don't have the man better. I don't think the man is better than Kobe, but that's just me. Curry has owned him in his own quote-unquote era. Curry is 3-1 against him. So, again, that's just me. Y'all can call him y'all GOAT. You can call him whatever you want to call him. But that's for y'all to continue to debate that. At the end of the day, man, thank each and every one of y'all for listening, man. We'll have more as the draft ends, man. We'll have like a first round wrap up. Right now, it's still going on right now because the first round is like almost 3 hours. So it's still going on right now as we speak. The Lakers and Nuggets game is still going on right now as we speak. So I just wanted to make sure I hopped in, gave y'all something because a lot of people, like I say, the Atlanta Falcons thing was kind of buzzing a lot. So I wanted to make sure I spoke on it. So just remember again, man, follow my show and everybody's show at the Post Network on the Roku app. So make sure that if you don't have it, you go ahead and get it. You download it, the Post Network, man. And also, before we get out of here, we're going to say the same thing each and every time because it is something that I live by. My daughter put it in me, and I keep rolling with it ever since, man. Live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back. Find you something to laugh at each and every day, and I'm out.